has now joined a growing list of Russell Brand accusers.
She's a hard-working Australian with decades of experience in the TV industry.
I just felt shame and embarrassment, and I can't believe this man did this to me.
We'll call her Rachel. In June 2008, British comedian Russell Brand came to her office. It's a day she'll never forget.
There was somebody in our front atrium who would not stop ringing the bell to the office. So I got up and I started walking around to the front of the office. And I was actually saying, all right, you can stop ringing that bell. I can hear you. Just stop. Just stop ringing the bell.
Accompanied by his entourage, the larger-than-life Lothario was there to record a radio show for the BBC, which shared space in her building.
And when I opened our front office door, there was Russell, by which stage he'd come in along with the 3 other men he was with.
Do you have much of an interaction with him then?
No. I didn't know who he was, and I didn't know anything about him.
What happens?
The BBC producer came to meet them, then took them to their radio studio.
It was an ordinary moment in an ordinary working day. But things took a disturbing turn 15 minutes later when Rachel needed medication for a sinus issue.
I went for a walk back through our corridor to make my way into the bathroom, went past the studio where the door was open, where the 4 men were.
So Russell Brand has seen you. You've gone into the bathroom.
I've opened up a cupboard where the first aid kit is kept, along with our medicines. And when I turned around, there was a groin in front of me. What are you doing in here? Like, what are you doing, mate? And he goes, oh, you're a bit all right, aren't you? You're a bit all right. And I thought, oh, okay. And then he goes, I'm going to call you Betty. I'm going to call you Betty. And I went, but that's not my name. He said, I'm going to you. And I went, no, you're not. And he goes, yeah, I am. And I said, no, you're not. And before you know it, his penis was on his hand and he was pretty much serving it to me as he would a dish or as you'd serve someone some food.
Russell Brand pulls his penis out in front of you. He presents it to you.
On his hand.
What did he say to you?
He just kept saying, I'm going to you, I'm going to you. And I thought, what is this man doing? Like, why would he be doing this to me? And then before you know it, there was a loud banging on the door. They were calling for him to come into the studio. And I thought, oh my God, thank God I've been spared this creep. I sat back at my desk and I had to think about what just happened. And I texted the BBC person to say, I was just in the bathroom and Russell Brand shut the door and he showed me his penis and he said, yes, I know, he's talking about it on air.
You're listening to the Russell Brand radio show. We are in Los Angeles. It is not live. This is
unbelievably, just seconds into his pre-recorded radio show with fellow comedian Matt Morgan, Brand was bragging about exposing himself to the woman in the bathroom. Russell Brand built a glittering career off his outrageous, hypersexualised persona, trading a well-documented addiction to drugs for a self-proclaimed addiction to sex. And somehow, we all laughed along.
I like them blowjobs, right, where it goes in their neck a little bit. I would never suggest it. I'm not suggesting it. It's their own idea.
But the laughing stopped this week when extraordinary allegations of predatory behaviour were made by 4 women on Britain's Channel 4.
He's grabbing at my underwear, pulling it to the side. I'm telling him to get off me and he won't get off. Like holding me up against the wall, pushing himself in me. He grabbed me and got me on the bed. I was fully clothed and he was naked at this point, and he held me down and he was just aggressively trying to, me. I was like, oh my God, he raped me.
It's only since those accounts emerged that Rachel realised that her own ordeal had been fodder for Russell Brand's radio audience.
So for the longest time, I thought that the audio, what he had said, didn't make the final program, if you would, the final edit of his show.
She was astonished the BBC hadn't vetted it and cut it out.
How am I supposed to ring that little bell with my finger? Have you
Got told off for ringing a bell. Minutes later, he was showing his willy.
Tell me, how did you feel when you heard that radio broadcast?
Disgusted and ashamed and embarrassed. He was misogynistic. He put me down. It made me sick. But I felt it corroborated my story that he is a predator. He is a leech. He's not a very nice man. And so in a way I felt vindicated because it was there and he actually admits to doing it.
He said it on air.
He did say it on air.
To her deep shame and regret, Rachel never made an official complaint about what Russell Brand did in 2008. When she brought it up with friends, they laughed it off.
Kind of jocular, yeah, almost like, oh, that's rather funny, but it is Russell Brand, it's kind of okay.
These were the days before Me Too, when women, particularly those in the entertainment industry, were expected to put up and shut up.
You don't want to be that one that brings this to light, that brings attention to someone's behaviour. In hindsight, I wish I had, but I actually thought nobody would have believed what I had to say, and I couldn't be that person to do it. It's really that simple there. And the shame that I would have brought upon my family, my mum and dad, I just thought I can't do it. It's pretty embarrassing.
Russell Brand's glory days are long gone. In the last few years, he's turned his back on mainstream entertainment to become an alt-right conspiracy theorist and vaccine skeptic. Ahead of the women's allegations being aired, Brand went on the offensive, denying them all and telling his millions of followers on YouTube he was the victim of a witch hunt.
Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play?
3 days later, YouTube suspended advertising on his channel, stopping Brand from making money from the site. What's left of his empire crumbling as the BBC launched its own internal investigation.
We'll look at any complaints made about Russell Brand's conduct during his time, what was known at the time, what was done. So full transparency, we're going to dig into anything that we've got there.
But Rachel wonders why that didn't happen 15 years ago.
I think that's what I'm kind of struggling with right now, is that I think back and I think no one's ever called me. No one has it. No one back then. Did they actually listen to it? Did they listen to the output and go, oh my God, Russell has just shown someone his penis in a bathroom, pulled out his willy? They didn't.
Now you know that the audio exists, that it did go to air, that thousands, hundreds of thousands of people heard it, that the BBC heard it, and nothing was ever done about it. How does that make you feel?
A bit upset, a bit sad. It's sad. Months after the incident, when I was having a coffee in a suburb not so far away from the office, I was leaving with a friend of mine who knew what had happened, and he pulled up with Katy Perry, and he saw me and put his head down and ran off, and she was behind me, to which my friend said, I think he knows. He recognised you and was worried that you may go up to him.
And did you think that he recognised you?
I did.
That interaction sounds very different from the Russell Brand that you had met.
Night and day. Night and day.
Rachel and the other women who have spoken out have endured years of torment and guilt, but they now have a growing sense that truth will win the day. So far, all we've heard from Russell Brand is that he is a victim of conspiracy. Do you buy that?
No. I don't know. There's no, these things are happening. There's no conspiracy. No, he's a liar. He's a predator.
What would you say to those 4 women that have made very serious allegations against Russell Brand? What would be your words to them?
I'm deeply saddened that they had to go through that, but happy that they're brave enough and strong enough to actually confront this elephant in the room and actually do something about it, because I wasn't.
Until now.
Until now.